Hey, this is Notser, and this is going to be a look at destroyer play in ranked battles. I have received a couple requests. Hey, can you go over your general play style when you go into a random or ranked battle? And I think this is a great opportunity to introduce some overarching goals that you need to look to do as a destroyer, and we will approach other classes in the near future. So, as a destroyer in ranked battle, you need to do one thing and one thing only first. Check the team list. Take stock of what the opposition and what your team is composed of. The enemy only has one battleship, two Belfast, and four destroyers, and we have basically the exact same thing. Couple key points there. The Belfast obviously has smoke and radar. You want to know basically what their radar range is, and for ranked play, it's much easier to keep in mind because everyone is at tier 7. It's a good training tool to get a good understanding of what you should expect. So, take down that the Belfasts are going to obviously look to be within 8.5 kilometers of pretty much everything, and they're going to try and use islands to their advantage because that's what Belfast do. The enemy Scharnhorst is a battleship with torpedoes. That could be important. The four enemy destroyers. Leningrad is good at guns, Akatsuki is good at torpedoes, and the Sims/Mahan are good at roughly everything. If I run into the Akatsuki 1 versus 1, I will fire on him no matter what. If I run into the Sims or the Mahan, I'm going to see about if I have an advantage. If I run into the Leningrad, same sort of mentality. And look at what we've run into. Enemy Akatsuki. Now, initially I was like, oh, it's 1 versus 1. We've committed. So I'm going to continue to engage the Akatsuki while using the islands to block line of sight once I get to this other island over here. I traded okay against the enemy Akatsuki. That Leningrad. It would have been a great trade if that Leningrad wasn't there. So as the destroyers, as a Leningrad, as a Kiev, as any Soviet destroyer, you want to operate near your max range. Take advantage of the velocity of your guns, set fire to battleships, cruisers, take out the destroyer in a 1 versus 1. Your torpedoes are not the best thing you can bring to the table, but you can use them sometimes. You just need to be careful. As a Japanese, it is torpedoes. You can counter smoke very well, whether it be the destroyers using smoke or the cruisers using smoke. Now, as I flashed back towards the center of the map, I noticed that I was detected by radar, and I was not detected by that Belfast. Do you know how I can tell? He was 8.9 kilometers away from me. The Belfast can only detect at 8.5. Because I know that information, I know that the enemy destroyer is on that southern tip of that island that I just pinged out, and I'm communicating with my team exactly what I expect to be there. I wish it could be more precise, honestly, but that's what we have to deal with, right? So, two Belfast and the last known position for the Scharnhorst, they're somewhere in the southeast side of the map, right? As a Japanese or even an American, if you can get your torpedoes out to a distance, a fair distance, you want to try and get on their flanks and push them out of their defensive posture. I am trying to get an angle on the Scharnhorst, and conveniently, we run into the enemy Akatsuki. I am going to take this every day. You are a better gunboat than that sucker can ever be. And I worry that my teammate is going to take torpedoes, the obvious torpedo. It's the only way he can counter it. If you're ever presented with torpedoes or long-range gun operation from your opposition, just use your speed. You are so fast compared to what they normally fire against, it's going to be much easier for you to force out a miss from your opposition. But we're safe, the torpedoes are fine, enemy Leningrad is spotted, I'm going to engage him. This is the perfect opportunity to eliminate my opposite number, and I make a critical mistake. I pop my smoke. I denied my team information. I was afraid he might do damage to me. I should not have popped my smoke there. The reason why I hold on to smoke so long is because I have knowledge and I'm willing to give up health to eliminate the opposition. But whenever you use smoke, especially aggressively, you are not even allowing yourself to gather information. Smoke is really good, but if you smoke and you don't get any extra information for the health that you just lost, it wasn't really worth it. And we see an enemy destroyer, and I'm going to manipulate this island. By the way, manipulate islands to your advantage. I'm moving just fast enough that the island is blocking line of sight, but I can still hit him because the friendly Shiratsuyu is just to my south. He has line of sight on him. That worked out pretty well, right? So, team list, communicate with the team, agree upon a strategy. I go towards a capture point usually. Epicenter is obviously a bad example of that, but going towards a capture point, you want to be as careful as you can to capture it. If you get any sniff of the opposition moving in that direction, it's probably a good bet that that's where most of the enemy team is going, especially if you see battleships or cruisers headed off there. That usually means, in ranked play, they're committed to that place, or that location, or that capture point. So you might want to pull back. Be careful. But if you don't see anyone, or you see people on the other flank, don't be afraid to take it. Don't immediately use your smoke, though. Your smoke is also giving away a general location that you could be. Only use your smoke if someone is going to get close enough to detect your ship normally. Or if you are in really bad trouble. Don't wait until you're almost dead. So many people do that. It's really, really bad. So we obviously have the perfect opportunity to engage this guy. He misses a very easy shot. I believe that he's nervous, and ranked play can kind of cause that. You wouldn't believe, well, you probably would believe how stressful ranked play is. It's going to cause people to make mistakes. And he just missed his shots. He had no chance when he missed his shots. The torpedoes were pretty obvious that the Leningrad wanted to send them, and the enemy Mahad. I also want to chase down the enemy Leningrad and finish them off. Don't allow anyone to run away when they're low. Yeah, it's not the easiest shot, but it's worth it. If he's with salvo or two, just get him. Just get him. And this is a global thing. If you see a cruiser, a battleship, an aircraft carrier, a destroyer, just get him. Take him out of the fight. And he was running to his teammate. The Sims came to try and help him out, and I noticed, oh man, he's full life. I need to pop my smoke, and honestly, I think I popped my smoke too early here again. My trades are so much better than his trades. He is not hitting me at all. I could easily have engaged him. Now, the turrets do traverse very slowly, so there's a long time where I'm not doing any damage to him. But look how close we brought the health, me and my teammates. Did a pretty good job, right? Yeah. And I'm not going to be able to kill him. He's not firing his guns. He's holding fire. So we did it again. We denied ourselves line of sight information, and he's going to get away. Now, while all this is going on, both sides are using a island to block line of sight. The Shiratsuyu, preferably, would be able to send against the enemy Belfast and slow them down. But what looks like happened is he sent in their last known position, not recognizing that they indeed have an advantage and they wanted to push it. They have a battleship and we don't. They have torpedoes at close range and we don't. So we are all left to try and slow them down as a team, and that's exactly what I'm going to try and do while the enemy fires on me. I was a little afraid of the shot incoming, and I run to the island. Probably miss one or two salvos on the enemy, honestly, and that is a mistake, but I wish I was in range to send my torpedoes. I could hold my fire, send my torpedoes, but I just don't think that is the right call. I think I can probably do more damage at range as a Soviet. As an American or as a Japanese, it probably is better to use your torpedoes. The enemy Belfast had his propulsion knocked off. He's dead in the water. It looks like he probably repaired it. The enemy Sims is just firing on the friendly Belfast. It's just not working out. I have a perfect location to fire without being seen. Free damage, of course. And two of the enemy are rotating very quickly around the island. The third is sort of sailing directly away from the island, and I didn't recognize that at the time. I was so focused on trying to help kill the Belfast, I didn't see that the other Belfast looks to be going directly at my ship. And that was a bit of information that was a mistake. Even in a position like this, Look at the last known position of the enemy. There's something there, Notser. Someone is capturing the center too, so we know he's at least crossed the threshold into the third capture point. But I just didn't recognize that, because I wasn't paying attention to it. I was so preoccupied trying to keep my teammates up, because I knew that's really the only way we win the game, but I didn't pay attention to me. I am detected by radar, and I'm trying to find the enemy, and oh my god, he's right there. He's right on top of you, Notser. This is also a bit of bad play. I sent both sets of torpedoes. I have to hit a torpedo. So what you should do in a situation similar, send one set, force the enemy to commit, and then send the other set. You usually are going to catch an enemy at full rudder the other way and forced to take a crossfire or a cross torpedo, crisscross pattern of torpedoes. It is very difficult to avoid taking damage, and that's all I needed there, is a little bit of damage against them. Theoretically, I could pop my smoke, hide from the Scharnhorst, drop off detection, and just stall out the game. But that's not what happened. We died because the Belfast lived. So, overview of every single ranked battle. Check the team. Decide on a strategy. Go towards the objective. Be careful. Take stock of the enemies that you see on the minimap. Try and picture in your mind what the enemy wants to do. Whether it be sit behind an island as a Belfast or a Fiji or an Atlanta or a Flint, fire at you. The battleships like to sort of brute force if they're given a chance without torpedoes. If there are a lot of destroyers, they're going to be very passive because they're afraid of the torpedoes. If you are a torpedo-focused destroyer, you are going to be trying to send torpedoes at smoke and slow the enemy down. If you're a gun-focused, you're going to be trying to set fires and counter enemy destroyers. That is what you're looking to do. Manipulate the islands to your advantage, minimize the number of targets that can engage you, and more times than not, you will find success. Have this running in your head in ranked. Don't get overwhelmed. Just remember, you need to perform at your best. You can't perform at your best if you're stressed out. Okay? Hopefully this can help you out, and hopefully this was an enjoyable game. We almost got it. I hope you enjoyed this discussion and the game. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.